Yes, indeed. Of course, a pleasant good night to all and sundry. This is, yes, the corridor transformation, the Sunday edition. Of course, we played a little bit religious in order, of course, to cool the temper in anticipation. Or could it be considered to be an anticlimax? Because, of course, you know, anticlimax is the opposite of what you expected, and, of course, prematurely. Well, of course, maybe it is in preparation for the fiery expositions that would, of course, take place from tomorrow on the ground report, and, of course, and beginning tonight here on the corridor transformation. So that being as it may, that is in fact a reality, and therefore we must understand that we have a duty and responsibility, of course, to treat with all of the issues that are relevant to Trinidad and Tobago, and to make certain that we engage in an exorcism. Yes, getting rid of the evil spirit, exorcism. You see, former father to Trinidad and Tobago are talking about, of course, the man who went around the parliament when it was on Rice Road. Yes. And he said he was performing an exorcism to get rid of the UNC administration. He and an independent senator, Helen Drayton, were all part of that notion that somehow, without proof, but because Rowley and them say so in opposition, and because they bring some fake emails, and because, of course, they talk about Section 34, a storm in a teacup, it was satisfactory for them to, of course, invoke, as they say, some moral principle, and, of course, and at the same time, Father Harvey was invoking some spiritual canon of the Catholic Church. Well, as soon as Rowley got into office, Father Harvey was hog-tied, I said tied up, in the presbytery in Gonzales. Yes, that might have been called a strange occurrence to what we commonly call today home invasion. In his case, it was a presbytery invasion. Yeah, because he was living there, or he stayed there from time to time, and the bandits went right there and hog-tied him. He said it was an awful experience. He said he couldn't believe, I'm sure, that he, an outstanding, so he felt, member of the society, one respected because he carried the cloth with him, and more so the force of the Catholic Church. Well, them bandits didn't care. They hog-tied him up there. You know, the Lord moves in mysterious ways, and sometimes he even speaks, of course, to those who would have gone on the wrong path, on the straight path, on the path of unrighteousness. You know, sometime afterwards they made him Archbishop of the town or the city or the capital of Grenada, St. George's. And you know, in one of his sermons, you know what he was saying? Telling his flock, his parishioners, don't get involved in politics. I wonder why. You see, experience is the best teacher. So he's over there now, away from, of course, all of the seeds that he would have assisted in planting in our young people in particular, to support an evil group of individuals, an organization that clearly is a criminal enterprise, are talking about the PNM led by a criminal called Keith Christopher Rowley, and don't tell me I know what I'm talking about. The man's a blasting rapist and a pedophile at minimum. And at maximum, he's a treasonist. Yes, he should be charged for treason, having regard to what he has done and all of the iniquities up to this point in time, and one would expect in the not too distant future as we move inexorably to what? To election 2025. Let us not waste time. Let us not waste time. And so, not yet. We can't feel like going home yet. Because home is Trinidad and Tobago. We have to settle home first. Yes, we have to settle home first, people. So yes, in the effervescence of the Baptist spiritual, this is what we know must happen. Yes, I.
I am sanctified, I'm holy, I'm on my way to glory. When I die, I live again. When I die, I live again. Oh, glory, hallelujah.
Yes, indeed. But in the meantime, we live here in Trinidad and Tobago, and we must make it as healthy, as comfortable, as accommodating, as congenial, because all of us want to live better. We want to sing better. We want to eat better. We want to live better. And we want to make certain that there's a better government than Rowley and his marauding bunch of opportunistic political parasites in the offices that govern Trinidad and Tobago, so that we can get our true benefits. Imagine you have a government that every Monday morning for the last 9 years telling you, on the one hand, everything is honky-dory, or they can do more with less, and they criticize everybody else. But on the other hand, and if you have to do a comparison or a ratio or a percentage, 75 to 90% of their utterances is hold on, while they impose draconian measures of increase taxes, increase cost of living, making it harder for the population every Monday morning. And it occurred in the last budget as well, and just before the budget, when they force people to, of course, go and pay property tax, and have the audacity and the temerity and the gall and the effrontery to say that the people are doing their what? Their civic duty and responsibility, and that every country has some kind of tax, and the nincompoops, yes, I have to call all the nincompoops and the sycophants and the apologists and them following that hogwash to, of course, total devastation. Imagine they are telling us to hold strain for 3 years again. Telling us that all of the increase in prices since they came into office in 2015 is not sufficient. Hold strain. and threatening us for increase in what? In electricity, water rates, and of course, all kinds of other charges, including, of course, a inheritance tax. Yes, it is an inheritance tax when you tell people that, listen, I am going to defer your tax. I'm going to defer your tax on property tax. But when your children become a lawyer and so on, imagine that level of hogwash. It's only an evil person could conjure up that everybody in Laventille will have pilots and doctors and lawyers and bankers. Yeah, that's what Rowley and they're telling us as our successors when we would have gone and leave, of course, our property, will it to them. But because I couldn't pay now, they have to pay it because they're going to become a doctor. That is the kind of asinine statements that are coming out from people who say they went to university and, of course, looking for more academic accolades through, of course, being ministers and prime minister. All your tales. All your tales. What are you telling me about? They come and you will hear them in the parliament saying all how and well they did. Yes, how and well they did. How and well they did. But let me tell them something. The population has seen what? Listen to this. Yes, people, Jesus is the lighthouse. We have seen the light. And we know of the toxicity. And we know of the poison. And we know of the evil that is Keith Christopher Rowley under the PNM. That is indelibly implanted in our consciousness, in our intellect, in our brain. Never to be forgotten, and to exact revenge. Yes, it's all right to say that. Exact revenge. Whenever election day comes around, exact revenge. Yeah. Rowley is telling us today, and it is only a person who, I wouldn't want to use the word unesoteric, meaning that they are unaware. I don't even want to use the word ignorant, meaning that lack of knowledge. I don't even want to use the word unconscious, because experience is the best teacher, and all of us have had the experience. And whilst they do not have the experience, Rowley and his team, they are conscious of the experience that the ordinary person is feeling in the society, simply because when you hear the Minister of Social Development, Donna Cox, and then her predecessor, Cockburn, all of them have some cock name. I wonder why. I don't know if they're afraid peacock, but that's a different story. But imagine Donna Cox telling people who were lining up for hampers that they're greedy. And Cockburn in Belmont, during the by-election in Belmont, was proud to say she deducted, she reduced, she took away 11,000 food cards. Proud, an achievement. But I think the greatest is Rowley, because I want you to understand, and I want you to read my lips with meticulous focus. Yeah. Rowley told us in recent times that every country has a tax to pay, and he was very philosophical and pragmatic at the same time, because he gave examples as to countries that have property tax. Of course, we on the ground report and on the corridor showed you where there are countries, even in the Caribbean, that do not pay property tax. Virgin Islands, for example, and some of the territories or the dependencies associated with the United Kingdom. Yeah. But that is irrelevant. He says that all countries, his argument is all countries allow their citizens to pay property tax. In fact, he went further to castigate, criticize, malign those persons who may have from Trinidad property in the United States and say they are the first to run and pay property tax. All right. All right. If you are a fool and you accept Rowley's position, no. Listen to me carefully. If you are a fool and accept Rowley's position, not that there are, not on the basis that there are countries that do not pay property tax, no, far from it. Where I'm going is this, that in 2008 thereabout, Rowley was vehement. He was dynamic, he was insistent that he don't want to pay property tax under the efforts of Manning, his then boss, to implement the same property tax that they are implemented now so stridently and so dogmatically and so brutally. Yeah, Rowley, let me say again, Rowley was saying in 2008 thereabout, when the Manning administration wanted to implement the same property tax, was saying that he don't want to pay, and that the Manning administration was profligate, they were wasteful, they wasted the money, and now they're looking to extract every cent from the citizens, and the tax itself was onerous, was debilitating. And I want to go on to, and don't get me vexed before I play tonight, you know. Don't get me vexed before I play him tonight, you know. And he was saying then that his constituents can't afford an additional $100. An additional $100. That's what he was saying. And today, the minimum you will have to pay, no matter where your property is, no matter what assessment you get, because there's a cutoff point of about $18,000. But if your property is valued at, according to the formula, 18,000 and below, 18,000 and below, anything 18,000 below, you have to pay $500 no matter what. Then he was saying that his constituents can't afford $100. Now I want to show you this. I want to show you that if you're playing stupid, you sycophants and you apologists, and some of you are supposed to be so-called intellectuals and apologists for this marauding, reckless, brutal, inhumane group of individuals led by a total and absolute evil man. Evil. So let me ask you a question. If today Rowley is saying that every country asked its citizens to pay something, to pay a property tax. Then, which countries he was talking about when he was opposed to the property tax on the money? You want to say, don't play here, you understand, you know. I say, were there different countries in the world, the 100 and what, 80 something countries or 92 countries in the world? Based on Rowley's argument today, back then when he was opposed to property tax and saying that none of his constituents could pay additional $100, which countries he was referring to? The same countries that he's saying today that all of them ask their citizens to pay property tax. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. In addition to that, their illusion, their deception clearly has no boundary, has no limit, limitless, infinity. According to my son, he's 9 years of age, he talks about infinity, yes. Their stupidity and their flawed arguments has no limit to infinity. Why? Because George Young telling us only in his contribution to the debate that was beautifully launched by the opposition leader, providing us with an alternative budget, yes. Let's go to the lines. People are calling in, and of course we don't delay people on this program as far as the calls are concerned. A pleasant good night. Welcome.
Good night, Mr. Lennox, and to everybody.
Yes, good night to you.
I hear the argument with the property tax. The thing is that people in this country, we would pay, but we need to get services for it. That's why there's so much a racket in license office and all kind of thing. People is going to pay the money because they will get through the thing. And the point about it is with Rowley and the PN. Well, the PNM only hold for all these 50-some years they're operating. We know that when they collect taxes, they don't ever use it for the people of the country. There's always some project building something, some way to make some kickback and all kind of before you do the money done and whatnot. And I was listening the other day a program with some people saying, we open him out and he jump out and he say that some money from some other areas would have to invest in some other places and things. You see that? If people paying, well, me paying property tax, let Rowley and him both and them come from my place. Me paying that. Let them play the taking people and seeing the thing. And taking up people money and going and see about people in Bitam and all kind of thing and see about paying them. Lennox, that go hard back along with him. I know what I'm telling him. You hear me, Lennox?
Yes, I hear you. I'm listening very attentively. Yes.
Yeah, I thought you cut off now.
No,
that go hard
not these days.
Yeah. So the point is, people in China are willing to pay for services because we just work damn hard. But coming out of COVID and all kind of thing, and people's schooling and all kind of thing, you can afford for people to be looking to do them kind of things now. And then on top of it, you mashing people more corn with telling people hold straight. Hold straight on what again? Seven times the gas raise. Crime run away now. Crime run away now. It because police kidnapping too now.
Yeah, boy. Some serious money, $500,000.
And then using unmarked vehicle, It's marked police car they coming on with and thing. So I trying to figure out if it's some other plan bigger, like they're trying to run out the small businessmen in this country for the big entrepreneurs to run everything. The big, this 1% of them go have the malls, them go have the clothes stands, them go have everything. Because Rowley's a man, he will burn the whole places down to the ashes and then rule in the ashes after him. That is the kind of evil this man complex with him. And I tell you, he had daughters and things, and I say, but them living in states, I just say, but if people ask them, he daughters, but what your fathers do? I wonder if them just tell him, well, my father is the prime minister of Trinidad.
Well,
And then people look at
they would have wanted to confirm from social media and so on, because you'll have easy access to that kind of information. But when they hear the kind of things that they're saying about the father, I don't think, because they should be, should I say, social media savvy as well. They don't want to tell the friends that he is the father at all, I'm sure.
But they might know, but they might have that same arrogant attitude because the whole of Trinidad, if you watch how people walking around, think back 10 years ago when Kamala and them was around, they wasn't perfect, but people was walking around with a smile. Look, they could bat up Japan how much they want, and everybody was whining low to the ground when we went World Cup.
Yeah, there was this feeling of optimism, there's a feeling of nationalism, there's a feeling of that I can make it. There was of course the Trinidad and Tobago dream, something like what the Americans have, and that with a little more effort you can of course produce and become independent, and so live a comfortable life once you put in the hard work. With these fellas, you could work hard as hell, nothing for you, because they want to select who must eat, who mustn't eat, and of course arbitrarily control, but also criminally, the resources of the country that is supposed to be equitably distributed.
But lENNOX then don't select who to eat and who not to eat. Then don't select is for we not to eat, and for them and the partner and them to eat.
That's right, that's the point I'm making. Well, beautiful conclusion.
They have done selected it. The other day, me and a police friend was talking, and we were sitting down and talking about the situation, about what's going on in the country, and I tell him, I said, boy, how you just feel going out and all them roadblock and sharing all them ticket and trying? He wanted to tell me something, but he didn't want to tell me, and he thinking. I said, so what about that $2.6 billion worth in both thief? None of all our badger, all they just play on the road for people. All they can walk in and arrest that man, boy. Say, boy, that over my head is, boy. So I don't know what to say again. Because the police and all feel, I said, let me tell you something. My boy, he's in my neighbor, who's the police? I said, when you see the done with we, they will come after Ole and Batok Ole already. Remember, he don't say how Ole had too much a nice vehicle driving up and down. Some of Ole bulletproof vest non expire and all kind of thing. I say, you feel them PNM came out Ole, brother? Them came out know they will always deal with the man on top of you, like the Kurla and the CP and whoever. So them go carry down the orders to Ole. And that is about it. It's a dictatorship we in now. Whether you like to believe it or not, it's a full dictatorship we in. And I don't know if you know, but Christmas started in Venezuela already.
Because of a dictator who wants to sanitize his person. But I think I will take the opportunity to repeat this. Let Rowley try that in Trinidad.
lENNOX, the way I see them getting away thing, I feel them will bring a law and tell you that when you turn 18, you must vote for PNM close before anything. I'm telling you.
Well, that would have had to include me as a past 18er and my children that are either just turned 18 or not yet 18. You would have had to find a way to imprison them for that, because certainly a pink donkey they will not see.
But look how they frighten people with property tax. The other day on the news, they said some old people going to pay property tax. They said that they pay 5 something. They said they ain't even had the money, but they ain't want nobody come. Because there's 2 old people living in a house. They ain't want nobody come taking out. You see all the frightening people are them?
Yeah. And let me show you something. Rowley and them have some serious, beyond of course, this realm, this earthly realm. They have some serious actions to pay for. Because Rowley will go to the parliament knowing full well that he imposed a coercive measure for these people to go there. In other words, they're going there under duress, not on their own volition. And he will go to the parliament and ignore that fact and telling us through the parliament and in the parliament and in our faces that the people are now rushing to go because they're doing their patriotic duty and they're doing, of course, by their own volition, in other words, their own willpower, and they're going to pay the property tax. That is what this man's saying. And it is not, let me just finish here. Let me just finish. And it's not just he alone. When the fire officers moved out of the fire headquarters because the dormitory had no air condition for months, and that became a soggy issue with the government, and another indictment on the Minister of National Security and his Prime Minister of incompetence and impotence. You know, when they were about to solve the problem, you turn and say that these people moved their beds out and in order to paint the room because they were so committed to the fire service that they became patriotic. That is the kind of hogwash they're telling people, insulting people's intelligence. But go ahead, my friend.
Yeah, but as the fire service, you can remember a little child get burned up and beaten because they couldn't get the back door in the fire truck open.
Yeah.
If it was this is a real country, the fire chief, the national security, all of them making jail.
But of course, no serious accountability, superficial, superfluous, mama guy, pretensive, and then hoping by attrition that everybody forget, and then they go on to the next issue, the next intrigue in this, all of which detrimental to life and limb in this country and progress.
But if any other administration, people vote for any other administration, they win. And then do shoppiness, they want to pack the streets with mad people to protest and all kind of thing. I tell you, once Kamala and them win, they have to do a serious and put real people to answer,
And of course,
that
goes without saying, man.
Yeah, because I do believe, honest to God, Erla deserve no retirement package as a police commissioner. If she retires, she should get what she is whatever rank she is now, not police commissioner, whatever she was before. Like she did, but I would never ever think make that woman deserve a payment package of being a police commissioner in this country. Never ever. Never. Well, all right, Lennox, you go ahead with your thing. I'm listening to you, brother.
Yes, man, indeed. A very healthy conversation. Last night, I spoke extensively as to the iniquities against Trinidad and Tobago of the Rowley administration in the sphere of that tripartite industry, oil, gas, petrochemicals, that contribute some 80% of the foreign exchange in this country. And the relation to that and the decision to close down Petrotrin, and we have established that it was because of the narrow personal threat to their political survivability, the entire cabinet of Trinidad and Tobago decide to close down Petrotrin because Rowley's name would have been part, or Rowley himself would have been central to the investigation as far as the fake oil matter is concerned. And that is why they closed it down. And of course, we concluded that the entire cabinet must be held culpable and therefore must be criminally investigated for their betrayal of the interests of Trinidad and Tobago in pursuance of their personal exculpation from accounting criminally for their conduct. A pleasant good night. Welcome.
You want to start lENNOX.
Pleasant good
Very
night.
interesting tonight, man. I said very interesting, man. Lovely program.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'll be very brief because I want to listen to you a little more. But the topic you were talking about, the country that you were talking about, the 140 countries, 140 countries don't pay property tax.
140, right.
140 countries don't pay property tax, including right Dominica, right next to in the Caribbean.
That's right. That's one of the countries. As I talked about the Caribbean as well. Yes.
Yeah, Caribbean, yeah, Dominica.
Yeah.
And they don't have gas
the
and oil.
Bahamas.
I said they don't have gas and oil.
Yes.
Imagine that they don't have gas and oil and them don't pay property tax.
Yeah.
We have gas and oil. Just like the Middle East countries, most of them don't pay property tax there.
That's right. Most of them, yes. That's right.
A man was telling me, well, them is Muslim country. I say, it's a country. Stop.
They have an excuse for that too? They have an excuse for that too? Oh my goodness.
Stop talking foolishness. I told them that. I said, don't talk foolishness to me. That's a country. Whether Muslim, Christian, that's a country. They have the same thing
with people, with citizens.
Yeah. They have refinery and they have the same thing with gas to liquid plant or anything. Yeah, they have all of that. Right? So don't talk foolishness. But I don't want to interrupt too much. I want to listen to everything. Thank
you very much. That's it?
I'll listen to you off here.
All right, okay then. Thanks very much. Thanks very much for that beautiful intervention.
But we have to have a discussion with this property tax here because remember the last time I spoke to you, they didn't get up 50% threshold.
I hear you. Oh yeah, that population, that population of that, according to the court,
according to the freedom of
that population of the list,
they don't
of
have
the registry,
the registry. They say that it is upon the discretion of the commissioner of valuation, which is nonsense to me.
Yes.
What nonsense they're talking about? The discretion of the commissioner of valuation. You have to show proof that you got 50%, man.
That's right.
And you don't have that. Okay?
Yes,
and man. People running to pay this thing.
Yes.
You have to show proof.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, man. Okay. Yes. And I must add, since of course, I don't feel that I will be easily diverted. I will come back to the original discourse with respect, of course, to property tax and, of course, the iniquities of this government as far as our main life-saving economic activity and 80% of our foreign exchange obtaining or obtenance. Yes. But the caller raised a very valid point. And quite apart from Rowley's diametric opposition to the property tax whilst he was in the Manning administration and fighting Manning for the position that he holds now, both in terms of the leadership and in terms of Prime Minister. Let's go to the lines. We always give a way to, of course, the callers. A pleasant good night. Welcome. Yes.
Good night.
Good night. Good night, sir.
Good night, Mr. Smith.
Good night to you.
I just want to put a little curry flavor in something now, boy.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Do you know the police and them doing wrong things?
Another caller on another line. Huh? Yes. Go ahead,
Yeah.
caller. Yes.
Yeah, the police doing some wrong things, right?
Yes.
And when we look at what the police doing, we must look at something that happened in the country. And it mightn't be irrelevant, but just hear what I have to say.
No problem, yes.
It is a criminal offense, I will say, for a government to take a woman out of the bosom of a party and make them president. I will say it's a criminal offense for any minister in high office should go to the Police Service Commission and take a merit list. Right? I will say it is like a criminal offense that 4 people should die in a pipeline and nobody get nothing for that. No stop work or suspension or some kind of thing. Everything going on as usual. I will say it's a criminal offense to put a person who reach resigning age and put them as commissioner of police. It's a criminal offense, I will say too, for a Minister of National Security to face up all them kind of ammoda and nobody here doing nothing to it. Right? It's a criminal offense to even close down a state-owned company like Petrotrin and lie about it. It's a criminal offense to even have an email gate and you become Prime Minister. Mr. Smith, good night to you. I'll listen off the air.
Yes, my friend. Yes, my friend. And it is so true. And I want to tell you, let me take this call. Sorry about that. Sorry, caller. Go ahead. Sorry, I'm so anxious to respond. Yes.
What the caller just said.
Yes.
You see, when they closed down Petrotrin had the union. When they closed down Petrotrin, the union would have done due diligence, and those drivers would not have been in that position that they get in, because the drivers would say, how come you have this and you have that? They cannot die. So they closed down the Petrotrin, and that is on account of doing that. They have this happening also. Apart from that, right? The patriotic say that they want a review. They want the government, the energy minister to review the bid concerning the refinement, and I find we should support them on that. We support them on that until we get that review from the government concerning the bid for the refinery. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. But the last one first, let me deal with my own take on the Petrotrin matter. The caller is correct. Because I was speaking today, I had a trip to the mechanic today, and I had to stay, and of course I had a little interaction with, of course, 1 or 2 persons, some senior people, and they were concerned with respect to the role of the trade union, the OWTU in particular, and while, of course, there were a conclusion, a consensus that Roger, of course, missed the ball, but there were other factors that, but let me go to the lines before. Wow, fast and furious. A pleasant good night. Welcome.
lENNOX,
Yes,
a pleasant good night to
Pleasant
you
good night to you as well.
and to everybody out there.
Yes.
I agree with that caller. It is a criminal offense. But you know what? We have to believe in God's justice, because we're not getting justice from man. So we will believe in God's justice. We have to know that God will eventually step in and take care of these people. lENNOX, sometimes when you see people suffering, it's because of what they do to others, and they feel that they get away with it.
Yes, that is for sure.
Yeah, you understand? And what the man said there, and more, because I know he will take up the whole night.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah, talking about that. You understand? It is an offense what it is going on in this country. And then people have no shame whatsoever to come and talk about UNC and PNM is the same. No, it can never be. UNC in all their dispensation built this country. PNM destroyed it. We see for the last 9 years all the destruction under Rowley's government. And that man have no shame to come and tell Kamala, bring your bill and I can bring my bill. Your bill is more. You're minding your family in the diplomatic center. You're minding them. You converted a room in there for a nursery for your grandchildren. Who loafing off the state now? Who loafing more than you and your family than Kamala? Everything this man do, he has some nasty stinking excuses for it. You bring in all your outside children, and I'm sorry if I offend anybody by using this statement. You put in all your bastards inside the deal, and then you want to come and talk about Kamala? This man have no shame. This man making people lose respect, lENNOX. He is making people lose respect in this country. You stand up there, they talk about we going to the IMF and we will do this. You ain't do nothing. You're lying to the people. Sometimes I had to believe why thou shalt not lie is in the 10 Commandments. No, it's true, you know, Leno, because this man lying and getting away with it. Everything that comes out of Keith Rowley's mouth is a lie. And don't ask for young Kai. Don't ask for that lacko. You want to tell me, lENNOX, you want to tell me that after 4 years you come in to tell people that Roger and them bring false document? It's shame all in her shame. So, you know what? I feel he had diarrhea and he passed it out. And you stood up in Parliament and said, but I waited. Friday passed, Saturday passed, Sunday night, what is the time? 9:20, and not a word from Roger. I mean, I have lost all respect for Roger, but I'm waiting now to see if Roger is going to answer that man. The only reason that he came out and said that is because Kamala said that she's in talks with the union. So right away now, you come to cast aspersion on the unions. Although, and let me make it quite clear, lENNOX, I am no flag bearer for Roger. For Shiraz Khan, none of them. Because they have us in the position that we are in today. Right? Or they so wanted to see the back of Kamala that all they didn't know what all they was doing to this country. And like today, we can't recover. We cannot recover, lENNOX. And it's going to be very, very hard. And all they come in to stand up there and lie now and say that this man brought fake documents. But we waited patiently. We waited patiently. You see, lENNOX, after Kamala revealed all of that about them, right? Imagine, look at the amount. Your I would say funds, the Office of the Prime Minister funds raised by 250 million.
Yeah.
To do what? To do what? Campaign? You didn't have money for the poor people of this country. You didn't have money to give the pensioners $1. But your money raised by 250 million. But I hope the pensioners and them listening, and all who want to still work great as the PNM, and if Rowley had the money, Rowley would have give we. That's a crap and all you know it. They have the money, but they're putting it in the wrong places. That is for campaigning. And all who want to sit down there and ball Kamala this and Kamala that, and looking for all the kings in Kamala's armor, when Rowley own mash up, and all they don't want to see it, or they sit down and take it. But I know I'm not prepared to do that. I'm not prepared to do that. And lENNOX, I am going to sit every day. Who want to say I repeated myself, go right ahead. I'm not selling information. I'm giving it out free. Michaela Pandey is a failure. Michaela Pandey and Gary Griffith should never be an option in this country. Never be an option in this country. Because we all know what a third party do to this country. Michaela Pandey has done nothing for this country for 9 years. Except campaign with the PNM. We saw her campaigning with Brian Manning. We saw her campaigning in Labrie. And playing sucky face to Rowley. Sucking up to Rowley. And I'm going to ask it again. Is it a PNM financier that is financing Michaela campaign? Just to keep Rowley in office. To all the people who want to follow Michaela, all you will be voted for PNM, all they voted for Michaela. Because she don't know anything. She is just walking in her father's footsteps. And she is not going to do anything in this country. That's just it. She's just walking, nothing else. Nothing else. And if all they want to waste all their votes and put us back in this situation that we are in today, remember, over 500 murders already. And how many more days again, Lennox? How many more days?
I don't even want to hazard a guess or a check because first I am trepidated. You know, I'm traumatized to even consider
we are traumatized,
knowing what the outcome could be. Over 700.
Lennox, today is what, the 7th of October?
That's right, the 6th.
We're just at the beginning of October and over 500 murders.
Yes.
And all you want to think about giving Michaela a chance. I didn't know this was a raffle. This is our bread and butter. This is our life and death situation. 22 babies die in NICU because of the PNM government and their carelessness. And all you're not getting up. All you're not, I know, Lennox, a lot of people not talking. They are waiting for the election bell to ring. I know that because I speak with people. They ain't coming out and campaigning. They ain't coming out and doing this, that, or that. But they waited for the bell to ring. Right? But that is not enough. That is not enough because we don't know when that bell is going to ring. We don't know. And we better, Lennox, take what it is going on in this country seriously. We have no type of nonsense in this country. None whatsoever. And all you better sit down and pay attention to what it is going on. Because the only option in this country, I don't care who say I put in country first. I don't care. I mean, sorry, Lennox, party first. Sometimes you have to do what you have to do. And the only person that I can see taking us forward, it's going to be hard, is Mrs. Pasabi Sessom. And who want to bring her down? Only take a good look at how she stood up there for 4 hours and delivered her part of the budget. And what hurting them, Lennox, is the things that she brought out there. The woman is not a stupid woman. The woman had the
real budget.
Best
The real budget for
country.
Trinidad and Tobago for 2025.
The real budget, was her response. Was the real budget. And I'm calling on the people of this country. You hear? All you better sit down and take stock of what it is going. Because too many lies, too many wrong things going on in this country. And the police, the DPP, Ivor Archie, all of them, because they are PNM party groups, they're turning a blind eye. Where is the case against Camille Robinson, Regis, and Foster Cummins? If there's a case. Where is the case against Faris? And all they coming to preach to people. Lennox, thanks a lot and have a good night. Take care.
Same to you, my dear. Same to you, my dear. Oh boy, one after the next. So of course, but we will accommodate. We will accommodate one after the next if necessary. I will get my opportunity, of course, in the closing stages of the program. Pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Hello, good night. Yeah.
Yes.
This is San Fernando calling here.
Hi, welcome, my friend.
Oh, okay. One of the callers was belting out tonight the amount of issues that the Rowley government has created here
of a criminal nature. They were very specific. It is criminal for this, it is criminal for that. I haven't gotten a chance to add my piece, but on principle, I agree with them.
And really and truly, if you look to do it, you could go on and on all night. Now, I always say that the Minister of Education, her children, if they were watching that clip with the fiasco in that school in Barata, how will the children feel? How will the minister's children, how they feeling? You know? Because to be watching that, you open a school for $10 million, you say you repair a school for $10 million, and then it's falling down in front of your eye. I mean, that is reality.
And worse yet, you're pretending as though it's not happening and still boasting about the 10 million and that suggesting that is value for money. I mean, these people are duplicitous, they are mad, they are insane, but from a criminal perspective, I agree with the caller.
And then too, Rowley has misused the office of the Prime Minister. Simply what's the issue with the Balizi House, right? Is it party business or government business that he on? Is it party business? He mix it up. I mean, it's a mix up because you can't mix party business with government issues. So, which means to tell me that you set your priorities wrong somewhere. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because party is different from government, you know.
That's right.
So there's a mix up there. Now the other thing is too that I was looking at a clip, the one with the David Lee response to the budget. He made comments on a certain project that Coleman Wood came to the parliament and wanted some $300 million for this project, and then the project started, and then he came back for another 300 million or 400 million, and David Lee said that it was close to $1 billion. But on the second term when he came back, right, the project itself, like, it shut down. Nothing happened to the project after that. And David was saying that they couldn't even find the money that was allocated for the project on the second rounds, right, for that project. So which means to tell me that they're thieving out the country's money.
Yes.
Where the money gone? David said that they couldn't even find it on the yellow paper. I mean, you played the clip the other night, right? You're watching, right? Go back at it again, and you'll see. They are actually thieving out, stealing out the treasury by doing this kind of thing, and they cannot account for the money.
Yes.
Also, like, similar to the thing with the Auditor General, the $2.3 million missing.
That is still cannot come for, even though it started off with 3.
Yeah. So, you know, but the program tonight, I love what I'm hearing tonight. So, you know, very good.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that endorsement.
Okay, thanks.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, indeed, of course. So let's go to the lines. Of course, we have a one from Tobago. A pleasant good night. Welcome. Pleasant good night. Welcome. Oh boy. All right, we lost that one. Just coming in from Tobago. Sometimes I get mixed up with the various, of course, awareness that you have to have with a device such as this, a smartphone. So you have to be very, very, very familiar. Unless, of course, you press the wrong knob and next thing you lost. So, our friend, I saw coming up on it, Silver Fox. Please call back, my friend. It was not, if you got cut off, it was not on purpose. It was accidental. A pleasant good night. Welcome.
Good night. This is Silver Fox Tobago here.
Yes, good night to you.
Before I start off, I said, give them my Santa Cruz, give them.
yes, as per usual.
What I glad about, the people in Tobago, we don't want PNM no more. All over Tobago is going, you're hearing they don't want PNM. Thank God for that.
Definitely.
And I want to hear the Trinidadians say the same thing. And I want to say something. Anytime police come to your home, make sure and call police because you're sure them people right. Right?
Yeah.
And I want to ask again. When Petrotrin was closing down, did UJ and them put up a big fight to stop that from happening?
That is something that we have to examine. But
why they didn't put up a big fight? Because they was promised it, right?
Yes.
So they let all the strength go, and now they don't have no strength. Right?
Caller, please hold on. We have somebody on the other line.
Okay.
We just call it full downfall of the union.
Yes.
Right? And then he called it downfall of us.
Yeah.
But I will tell you something. Kamala is coming to take over. And I know the PNM tired. And because they're tired, Kamala will put them to rest in peace. Thank you.
I hear you, my friend. I hear you, my friend. Yes, indeed. Pleasant good night. Welcome. Welcome.
Yes, good night, Mr.
Yes.
Lennox.
Yes, so
I'm
let
listening.
me tell this caller to hold on. Hold on, caller. We have another person on the line before you, Miss Arima. So let me just deal with her first, please. Pleasant good night, Miss Arima.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
What I'm saying is, I listen to Mr. complaining about how much crime for this and this is a crime and that is a crime.
Yes.
Well, I want to tell him it has take place to remedy them, you know. But it has go in the Privy Council. Let me draw an example. When they take the matter to the Privy Council concerning the closing down of the refinery, it had a judgment. And the most they just do is just give you a judgment. And it stay closed. They bother with the Privy Council. When they take the matter to the Privy Council for how he didn't want to have the local elections, he wanted to cancel it to see how he could fool we and rob the citizens of the country with all the this and that he talk about, the story long. I want to go there. I have some things to say.
No problem.
He didn't care, you know, he still didn't want to have the election. They don't have to listen to the Privy Council and he show you that. But due to how the people protest, and talk, he feel a how. And he say, well, okay, just a local election. He come, he draw with Kamala and all of that. And he say, well, it's just a local election. But he could come now and cancel the general election. Haiti do all of that. And you see how Haiti end up? They cancel election for years. So he don't have to listen to any Privy Council, but it have place dreader than that for them. And if the opposition, they carry them to the OAS, and I will keep saying that, although they say to talk with the OAS and OAS here, right? Mm-hmm. If they talk to the OAS, it have sanctions. And we wouldn't have reached where we reach all now because they are cowards. And when a couple of them get sanctioned, right? They would have been more calm. I selling information concerning Nicolas Maduro. They had to pay. I ain't talking about that again. It's a real thing the UNC should have known to know how to answer them. You see how they give them talk in the parliament what day it was? That is a crime. And they can't even answer. If I was a person in the parliament, you hear, it would have bacchanal inside of it. That parliament would have had to shut down with a person like me. I will make a war anyway. You hear? This is my country. This is my country. And no next country from outside could talk to me. So whether it's budget debate or budget review or whatever, don't send no message with none of we politicians here for we to tell we to shut we mouth. That is the answer. Because I know how they does operate over there, and that is very dangerous what's going inside of that parliament. I don't know how all they understand it, right? But I understand it so because I know how it is over there. It will have assassinations. A person always get assassinated for telling that same Stuart Young he does lie. When them people come in here in COVID in the sanction plane, and you, Lennox, and that young man, Andy Williams, say Stuart he lied. And he did damn well lying. But to save themselves, they had to do that because the sanctioned people were coming inside of here. Right? Wanted to shut all up. Andy get shoot. Yeah. But when that happened, I want you to remember, when I was talking in code to give all your faith, that is before Andy get shoot. Right? It's I who come out and tell all that, and it's from then I started calling when I see the advantage and I know what's going on with these people over there. It's me. Right?
Thank you.
When they wanted to put all in court, I talking, everybody just call here and talk long.
No, gosh.
Let me go back
I
in
thought
the
you finished.
past.
Don't vex with me.
No, I ain't finished. I won't vex with you. But
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
Yeah, go ahead.
I call the morning. And I tell all you that Delcy come in here for gear and this thing dangerous. You see Andy get through?
Yes.
And people want to tell me come and protest. I know I coward. No, let researcher number one talk and bring all he things for free in this kind of time where people can't talk when it will have assassination. If all you don't know, I telling all you, all kind of thing going and happen right now.
All right.
Just try and understand where that Stuart Young coming from.
I hear you.
Watch all yourself inside of here.
Yes.
So I selling. And if nobody ain't want to buy, it ain't had nothing coming. Living it. Living the problem where they robbing the patrimony of the country and nothing is being done to report these people so they will be sanctioned. And when they get sanctioned, we will live in a little peace. Them don't care, you know. They don't care. They're doing as they want. And the longer they stay there, we suffering.
Yes.
Look how much thing happen. Good night, Lena.
Yes. Same to you, my dear. Same to you, my dear. I'll make my comment later. Of course, we have someone holding on. A pleasant good night to welcome.
Pleasant good night, Mr. Lennox.
Good night to you as well, my friend. Sorry
and
about
pleasant
that.
Good night to the right-thinking citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Lennox.
Yes.
And I want to say, Santa Cruz, go to the head of the class. Mr. Lennox.
Hey.
You know, the last 5 years, from 2015 to 2020, right?
Mm.
I knew Dr. Rowley plan. Dr. Rowley letting all institution ministries get deteriorate, right?
Yeah.
Because it's a strategy you have. Let it get deteriorate, and then you know we go come and tell you, oh, you look, this is the damage that the former government had done. I trying years to fix back. If you listen how he's speaking, that is his technique. That is his only move. Right?
Mm.
So he trying that technique and he coming with it again. If you listen, 2027, Dr. Rowley don't know if he will be alive, but he telling me victory, the place will be good. He tell me that in 2015 too.
Yes.
And we must never allow the UNC to get back in office because all the damage that is done. Right?
Just hold on. A pleasant good night. Just hold on. We have another caller on the line.
But just
go ahead,
when you realize and you understand, it's easy to understand, you know. It's just Dr. Rowley striving off of the people or the PNM ignorance. He is striving on the PNM people ignorance. Right? But, you know, we're going to change that. And my political party, which is the United National Congress, we have a plan for him, but we're not talking about plan in the open. We have a plan, and I hear you say 85%. Right now, we reach 90% where we will win the general election. 90% the UNC would win the general election. That's the only party. That's the only hope. As Santa Cruz now say, it are people who quiet and then we need more, and we need more. Which is correct. But we will be victorious whenever that devil called the election. Because he planned falling apart. We understand him. We know who is he. Because here we do. He tell you it's pressure, right? But he give the public servant and the programs only.
Hello? Hello? Are you there?
Hello, good night, Mr. Lutz.
All right, okay, well, I think we lost that caller. I'm sure that he wasn't finished. Call back caller. But go ahead, sir. Go ahead, the person on the main system. Go ahead. Mr. Faizabad, go ahead.
Pleasant good night to you, Mr. Lennox.
Pleasant good night to you as well, my friend.
And all your listeners on this broadcast to share and to stand firm and lobby for foreign observers for the 2025 general election.
So true, so right.
When we stand now, we ask for foreign observers, no CARICOM observers, because Kid Rowley went to Guyana and tell Michelle Granger that he win the general election, and when they do check it, you see who be the government. So we don't want to CARICOM who will support wrongdoing.
Mr. Faizabad, yes. I didn't have anything relating to that statement that would have been made. If you could find it for me, I would really appreciate it, because that would add to our arsenal that he continues, of course, to defend what I consider to be evil and anti-democratic stance as is so pellucid as far as Venezuela is concerned. So if there are any documentation or any records of that particular statement that he supported Granger in the way that you said, I would really appreciate it.
Yeah, when he went to Guyana,
okay.
the general election,
okay,
and he had a stand, and he said that he recognized the winner, right, as the incumbent.
Okay.
That time it was Granger.
I understand that, but yeah. I have no record of it, so I want to find a record so I can play it for the whole world to hear and see, and of course the sycophants and them to, of course, be conscious of the evil that lurks in the personality called Rowley.
Right. And that is, okay, if you're looking for it too,
yeah,
you'll find it with the Formula 1, when the bank account was, it was traced to Guyana.
Okay, around that time.
Yeah.
All right.
$2,500 reached America.
I'll take a look then. Yeah, that's when Munilal made the disclosure, and he, like a little sissy, goes to the parliament and pretending and crying that he has no bank account and etc., and it was a devastating lie, all of that. But we know it was pretense, it was histrionics and theatrics that he was engaging, because when the currency, when his political stocks are up, he's arrogant and contemptuous, and when it is down, like all of them, like Al-Rari, with respect, of course, to the Nelson Gate matter, they have a different personality, and they want to play victim and looking for sympathy. But we know them. But go ahead, my friend.
Yeah, so that is when Mark Basanta quoting the journalists.
Okay.
They trace the money and follow the money to Guyana.
Okay.
Right? The company that the check was made out.
I'll check it out.
I'll
check it out. I always wanted to sorry for asking you it in this way on air, but I didn't want to lose the opportunity, because I usually would forget after the program. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, but no, to tell you the truth, I'm not a keeper of data and stuff like that, but on hard copies. But the file, we'll have to go to look.
Yeah, no problem. I will do research. I just wanted a guideline, a guidance, and you gave it to me very, very accurately and appropriately. So I will just do my homework. Go ahead.
So I will look and see if I find that out too.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Beautiful. So I gave some homework as well. All right.
So Mr. Lennox, right? What I want to say, I want to cuss you,
Go ahead.
Because here what's going on, right? I can understand you, You're telling me, right? The OWTU, the bid for the refinery, and the money that owing, and the bullet, and but you didn't tell the public. Why you didn't tell the public, Mr. Lennox, that Malcolm Jones' debt of that $800 million bullet payment, you was kicking down the road as a tin pan, right? And now you stop the refining of we indigenous crude. But yet still, you say we was losing money. What was the price of a liter diesel? You didn't tell the public that? Mr. Lenox, I don't like that. You didn't tell the public it was $1.50, $1.50, and it was subsidized. And you was making it up because the revenue stream, Mr. Lenox. And now you come and your friend raise it to $4.95 for diesel. Look at the mass profit. Eh? So if you had where the profit margin is, you're paying more to make a profit to supply. Eh? Then you come and look at the price of premium and super. Eh? Mr. Lenox, look at the price of Petrotrin. I don't like you for that, Mr. Lenox. Because you know what? Because you come now and saying that the refinery. But you know what I understand, Mr. Lenox, with you? Because you and your partner say that the election time, and because my friend say he sided with my esteemed political leader, you want to show everybody how mash it up. But you see, when something was making money and being wealthy, anytime that they do it, they say loss. But I want to ask Trinidad and Tobago one question, and so long I was trying to get to get you to ask you this. You remember Malcolm Jones? When he making the shift, they spent $60,000 and buy a dialysis machine. And when he retire, he go on with it. Now, you notice something, Mr. Lenox, right? That NGC, strangely, buy cancer chemotherapy machine and donate it to the institution on them. I just wonder, how coincidentally, but yet still, the stock where people invest in the IPL, they can't make no profit and they can't get nobody no money. If they put aside a debt on the book, but $10 million could come with cancer treatment machine, Mr. Lenox. So I just wonder, but the average citizen and the average Joe was seeing trouble. So, Mr. Lenox, have a pleasant good night to all your listeners. And we ask for foreign observers for the 2025 general election. I hope I am a shake one.
Not at all. My response to that is very simple, really. In that, why would I have to go to... That would be a subject of a different program, but why would I want to go there when, of course, Imbert adequately gave us the real reason why the oil refinery was shut down, and that it was in fact making money. So I did in fact play that at the end or nearing the end, so maybe you didn't get a grip of that. Yeah, but certainly the whole question of the price of energy under the Kamala Prasad Bisesa as opposed to Rowley must be viewed in the context where I started this program by saying that here it is. Rowley and Day wants us to accept increased hardship, increase in the cost of living, standard of quality of life, almost on a daily basis, and then telling us that that is the best thing for us. And I was going there to, of course, say to you that when Kamala Prasad Bisesa presented her alternative budget in the Parliament on Friday last, Rowley and they were saying that she is populist, that she making populist statements. I mean, one person saying, I will impose property tax, putting pressure on me, apart from and increasing with those that were already given, or piling up on top of what was already given by them, by Rowley and they. Kamala is saying $25 for the daily pays and in terms of a decent wage. He puts on $2, and they have an argument for that as well. They have an argument for it. But the point I am making here is that Kamala is making populist statement as if she cannot deliver, when in fact she has a record of having delivered. He is telling us that only pain and ache and agony policies program and misappropriations and increasing, of course, hardship is the best thing since sliced bread. That is what Rowley and they effectively is telling us. Kamala and them is saying that it is unnecessary. And he would say that that is, Kamala is saying that it is not necessary. And he, Rowley, and they are saying that that is populist. I say, hold on your tail. Because in 2015, all it wasn't populist. When you were saying that you will not interfere with property tax, that you will not interfere with subsidy, it wasn't populist then. It wasn't populist. When they even went as far as to say that you could do more with less, it wasn't populist. Hey, Rowley, it wasn't populist. No, it wasn't populist. When Kamala says that she's going to give, it should have been $25 per hour. If she was in office, you having a problem with that. And they have the audacity and the temerity and the proclivity, the tendency to talk dunderheadedness, and the level of hogwash is unfathomable. I mean, it is as if they have a bottomless pit of putrid nonsensicality. Because if you put $2, Kamala say, well, listen, how much is $22? Put additional $3. You know what these asinine specimens of inhumanity, totally out of their minds, would argue? And you have, of course, sycophants and apologists. Thank God they are in the vast minority, and they are becoming rapidly extinct. I will continue after this call. Rapidly extinct. They have a response to that saying that that is populist. But let's go to the line. A pleasant good night.
Yeah, but I was totally interrupted when I was trying to get my point across.
Yes. Sorry about it was conspicuous by your sudden withdrawal, but go ahead, or silence. Go ahead.
Yes, I was interrupted. Humbly apologize about that.
No problem.
Yes, Mr. Lennox, as I was saying, he tell the people it's pressure, and he gave URP, CPEP, and MTS, and he offered the public servant a little digit, which I hope and Sally Roger and them decline on that. We don't want nothing from him. All they stay in the court to get what they're supposed to get. Don't take nothing from everything with Dr. Rowley's a trick. Everything with Dr. Rowley's a lie. Dr. Rowley's a deceiver. And the people that who is supportive of him or supporting him, he's striving off of the arrogance and ignorant. Is this still a dead and a suffering, the country dying? You're going to the hospital and you're staying 10 hours and you can't see a doctor. Traffic mashing way up and the pitching road and nothing happening, pothole all over. Police gave we unwanted ticket that we don't deserve to give it with because it's a money making thing for the government to put more money in the treasury for them to do what they want with it, or give to a young brother more than $4.something billion. And Faris Alwari and all these men and them who benefiting from the trough of the PNM, and everybody else have to suffer. So they're striving off the ignorance and the state that the country in. Somebody's supposed to be ashamed to say, I's a PNM till I'm dead. I's PNM going down dying. Well, I hope they know they're dying fast and quickly because we reach 500 and something murders and we have a couple more months, God forbid, to reach 600, which we could pass that. right? A 2,000 vehicle wouldn't solve crime. A plane for the air guard wouldn't solve crime. The boats they're going and buy now wouldn't solve crime. You should have known that from 2015 to now. Where I put a dent in it. On your way out, you're trying to extract money out of the treasury, so you're going to end up with the change. Mr. Knox, when they extract money out of the treasury, they just end up with the change. The change is big money. So the more they want to do is to pull out money, extract money out of the treasury, because all they focus on is the change. So if I buy 10 boat, I want some change. As they're telling you the cameras where they're buying, and people, all of us check it and realize the camera is so cheap, but they want to tell me the camera for the police is $8,000 because they want the change. Short Young and them getting the change.
Big change.
Faris Alwari, them getting the change, which is big money, eh?
Yes.
And the PNM people, or the rest of Trinidad and Tobago, they're getting scrums. So I say all of that to say, the people of Trinidad and Tobago who listening, who thinking, who don't have dead brain cells, or they let me get up and just set myself. Tell a friend, your ID card is, I just like nobody who don't have an ID card right now, you know. You have to have your ID card and you have to go and check to make sure you could vote. And otherwise I don't want no dealings with you. Don't mention nothing to me about the country hard if you're not going and vote. Don't tell me about anybody who go there. It's the same thing. The UNC and the PNM is two different political parties. The UNC does deal with social issues where the money does come down to the ground and the average citizen like myself does benefit. That's the UNC. If you're talking about the PNM, we're just talking about the rich getting richer and the poor man business closing down. So I mean with nobody know who ain't voting. You don't have a comment. You shouldn't complain about anything if you're not voting. Once you are not voting or you're not putting yourself in position to vote out the PNM government, I don't have no conversation with you because you're non-existent in this country. And we have a lot of them. And them that be suffering the most. So people are hopefully listening and all understand where it's taking place. The country in burning, you know. The country burnt. Dr. Rowley mashed up this place. So let me get a chance to give the honorable, distinguished leader Kamala Prasad Bisesa, who read out the budget we're supposed to get in the parliament on Friday, if I'm not mistaken. That's the budget we're supposed to get. And I know a lot of them listening. And I want a little stop vote on race. Don't vote because I'm supposed to vote for this. Vote for policies. Vote for the right thing. Vote for a better Trinidad and Tobago. And the only person right now that we have out of the two, and I ain't calling my party no devil. My party is the party that's dealing with social issues. We have one devil in this country, and that's the People's National Movement. And we have freed him. We waiting, we set, and when we don't get them, and we beat them on the night of the election, anytime we call it, it's jail. I want them to investigate every one of these ministers, every one of the people that was in that cabinet, and bring them to justice. And the only party can do that, with enough evidence, is the United National Congress, with these distinguished lawyers that they have, we will bring down this PNM. And Mr. Lenox, that's it I had to say, you know. That's all I had to say, you know. I hope the people listening, I hope they're thinking with the thinking cap, and let me get it done. Mr. Lenox, have a blessed one.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I mean, that is passion galore and factual as far as the underpinning and the essence of the discussion or the presentation goes. But I want to get back to the question of if Kamala says it is a populist, and for Rowley and Day, that is persona non grata. That is taboo. To tell people, look forward to a happier life. Because Rowley and Day their raison d'etre, their modus operandi, their policies and programs have all been designed for pain, ache, agony, disappointment, and at the same time promoting them as they sit where they are and gourmandize greedily, acquire wealth produced by Trinidad and Tobago's fortune. You want to call it nature, you want to call it God-given. And they want it for themselves, but we must not get any, and then telling us that when Kamala Persad-Bissessar says no property tax, when she says that the minimum wage should be increased by or increased to $25, and therefore $5 should have been added rather than $2, Rowley is saying that that is populist. Hollow your tail. Who's so damn stupid to see fire, know that it burns, observe people's skin leaving their flesh when they are burnt with ordinary fire or acid. And Rowley and the PNM represents the acid and the fire, and telling us that she and the UNC are making populist statements, possibly suggesting without telling us that no way she could implement that. And when the records are clear that we did not have any property tax between 2010 and 2015, why it is moving forward with the Kamala Persad-Bissessar administration, we cannot have the same thing. Rowley is trying to intimidate and trying to frighten us to gravitate towards our own detriment and suicide. Just imagine that. Rowley and they campaigning, saying that we must accept the pain, ache, agony, incompetence, impotence, self-serving agenda, their greed, and their sudden voluptuous living. Sudden voluptuous living, people. Voluptuous there. They suddenly find wealth. And telling us that that ain't good for us. And has the audacity and the temerity, the gall and the effrontery and the bold-facedness to stand up in the parliament and tell us that what Kamala Persad-Bissessar pronounced in the alternative budget is a populist one, and we must decry, we must not gravitate to what essentially is the amelioration of our circumstance by way of commitment, by way of an expression, what the UNC will do and Kamala Persad-Bissessar when they get back into office. Hold on your tail, Rowley. That is reverse psychology of the worst kind. You know what I say? I said that is reverse psychology, Rowley, of the worst kind. Let us take, for example, people, the minimum wage. Rowley said $2 added. Kamala said it should be $5 added. He claims that Kamala $5 added will make businessmen close down, small businessmen, and will make people adjust their workday to certain hours in order to accommodate and to probably maintain their profit margin. I want to tell you, is the most asinine, the most, as the caller rightly said, criminalistic statement, or among the various criminalistic statements that were made before, that should be added to it. You see, unless Rowley could tell us that when he added the $2, if the same businessman he referred to in relation to Kamala Prasad Bissasa's proposal of $5, if they will not consider the same parameters, the same variables as he has espoused for Kamala Prasad Bissasa's proposal. I'm talking about vex, you know. Don't get me vex. He is an ass to think that what he said about Kamala Prasad Bissasa's $5 increase is not applicable to his $2 increase. He has to be an ass, a compound ass. Has to be. Businessmen will always look for ways and means to cut costs. And whether it's $2, a cent, or $5, it will happen. And what is the classic example? Well, the classic example has to do, as per usual, they always spit in the sky and fall in the face. I tell you, the PNM is imploding, both in terms of ideas, in terms of creativity, and of course, in terms of the repercussions for the raiding and the pillaging and the sacking of our treasury directly and indirectly. What is the example I'm referring to? Well, when Imbert said that he raised the price of gas and other products, not once, not twice, and he wanted to do it again, and then riot yet. And they told us that they don't expect the fellow who transporting or the transportation industry not to raise their prices. And he told us that. Whether it be the cost of transporting goods or materials, whether it's a truckload of gravel, a truckload of sand, or to buy a face basin, or a piece of lumber, or a face basin, or paint. He told us that no, he doesn't expect that. That's what he told us. That those nincompoops. And we were saying, it's clear you don't know Trinbagonians and their mindset as far as the business is concerned. And while, of course, there are those who would be humane and have a conscience, by and large, no businessman wants to take on unnecessary expense. So he's going to pass on the expense. And so we see it reflected in food prices, in bread, in sugar, in salt, in butter. We're telling them about the cost as a consequence of removing those subsidies, and as a consequence, gas prices or fuel or energy prices would have risen, and so every other thing rose in the market. And the market here means whether it's grocery, whether it's the hardware, whether, of course, in the traditional market, as we know, selling, of course, provision and, of course, perishable and non-perishable items. They're telling me about. I'm saying all this to say, do not be bothered with Rowley and their hogwash and any port for a storm argument and square peg in round hole logic. You have to be an ass that your $2 increase will not cause people to raise their prices, will not cause people to go out of business. That's as far as he went. Or indeed, reduce or adjusted their workday to their advantage, the businessmen I'm talking about. You have to be an ass. Sorry, I'm not on Prince Street, and I really tell him what I want to tell him. If you know how it right at the tip, I'm a tongue. How you can say Kamala's position is populist? What you mean by that? So your $2 is not populist. You trying to mamagai CPEP and URP workers with $2, and that is not populist. And giving them an augmentation that is less than half of what Kamala Persad-Bissessar has proposed, and because of her track record, having raised senior citizen pension, having raised the minimum wage several times while she was there, having introduced milk grant, having dealt with the cerebral palsy parents or mothers. You take it away, you take them away, and you have the audacity and the temerity on this 12th hour after you are getting to ass out of office, and before you get your tail ready to get out of office and prepare yourself for blue lights and silver bracelets, you're talking about populist statement? Who in the right mind studying you? Who in the right mind would say, based on your principal position with respect to property tax, that you have any moral or ethical authority to increase any tax or indeed introduce property tax when you said in 2008 that no way, and you went on just before the election? We know now is an attempt to hoodwink, to deceive. You were insincere, you were dishonest. And when dishonorable people seek honorable office, the only outcome can be dishonorableness and, of course, conmanship, and to the disgrace of the perpetrators of this diabolical act. I'm talking about Rowley, and they must be disgraced. How the hell you come up with your $2 increase is better than Kamala Persad-Bissessar's $5? Is that what you're saying, Rowley? And are you saying that based on your miscalculation as far as the subsidies is concerned and the increase in gasoline and other commodities to keep the wheels and the engine of industry going so that we can provide food, shelter, clothing as every human being is entitled to and gravitates to, including, of course, in these times, entertainment? Hold your tail, Rowley. Who the hell you talking to? You trying to insult our intelligence again? Go back and find out what you said about you and Imbert about the subsidies removal, and that no, there will be no increase in prices. There ought not to be. There ought not to be. What I can assure you, when Kamala says $5, not only would that materialize, but mechanism would have been put in place to have businessmen understand that they cannot victimize those persons who are at the lowest rung of the salary intake and socio-economic ladder. I can assure you of that. She will put mechanism in place to treat with that. And don't tell me you don't know what I'm talking about, because it happened before. It's 30,000 items were VAT-free, and around Christmas time, no VAT cost on basic items. That is what Kamala's record is. That is what the UNC record is. And let me tell you how dangerous Rowley is, and how injured, hard-hearted, rock-headed, barbaric, sinister, evil, wicked, and retrogressive. Retrogressive, the man acts as a Neanderthal, a caveman, Neanderthal. Because when in Kamala's time, around Christmas time, every MP would be sent a certain amount of hampers. That was sent to Rowley as well as the representative for Diego Martin West. And he flatly refused it. He flatly refused it. The man is naturally destructive. And don't tell me you don't understand what I'm talking about, because clearly, because he has some kind of dysfunctional pride. Yes, dysfunctional pride. Really and truly nestled in an inferiority complex. A man who has a reasonable sense of worth about themselves will never act that way, because they would consider, well, listen, there are poor people inside of my constituency that would want these hampers. Why must I, because of my own pride and my own arrogance and my own contempt, of course, for Kamala and them, why must I arrogate that? Or put another way, why must I have that rubbed off on my constituents who are in need of these hampers? Rowley, send them back. Send back the hampers on them. And mind you, the man has confessed that he will never change, you know. I don't get me vexed before I bring that to you, know. Because when he was criticized for his misogynic statements, his criticism of women, and his hatred for women and children, and you will understand why he clearly cannot extricate or eradicate that rapist and pedophile tendency. You want to say? That rapist and pedophile tendency. He Rowley. Let's go to the lines. I'm coming back. I ain't finished yet. I'm coming back. A pleasant good night. Welcome.
Mr. Lennox.
Hey.
And I want to tell you something. Right?
Go ahead, my friend.
I wouldn't say it's good for the senior citizens. I would say it's unfortunate that 10 years, those are the loyal Red Army soldiers that have been walking, limping, sign up in the line long to vote for the PNM, right? Mm-hmm. The senior citizens, I don't want to call them old people, because some good day I have to get there too once I'm alive. So I want to say the senior citizens who is loyal to the PNM, 10 years, the man stay in office, and he give them nothing.
Showing you that, and he saying that's the best thing since sliced bread. This madman, this sociopath,
that they are bound for nothing. And if he had it, he would have given them. I would like them to know if they could return the 1,500 that or the twice my distinguished leader raised the pension. I wonder if they could give it back. I want them to give it back. The ones that them who ball in the Rowley, if we could have given them, they would have get it. And they only know when they tell them Kamala give them a reach up the ball, that is the government money. Right? But at the time, Kamala was in charge and she was the prime minister. So if they could give back the little two raise up pence, the two extra money that Kamala gave all it twice, or they can give it back. Because the way how they're moving, like it's only when Rowley decide, wherever he decides, they believe in. And the ones of them who just loyal to the PNM, it's unfortunate. I don't want to tell them it's good. It's unfortunate that a party only that be following and calling the Red Army. He ain't give you nothing. 10 budget. I ain't for correction. And he ain't get all you nothing and he kept all you. And the little extra he give them people there, that's a mama guy. Because everything as I say, he just come with a mama guy. So I just let me bring that to the pensioners' attention. The senior citizens and them who loyal to the PNM, I just let me bring that to their attention. And if they say, please bring back the little raise up thing that my distinguished leader give all you. And what they find is the government, but they can give it back now. But Rowley ain't give all nothing, but they can give back where they get all they say, all they think, because they can give it back. So I get what they say now.
That's right, my friend. And sarcasm in this regard and reverse psychology is appropriate. Yes, give it back. Give it back. But I want to show you how that simple act of refusing hampers to give to the obvious poor, because Rowley said that in his constituency there are poor people too, and people committing murder and so on when the crime situation occurred, remember, all in Big Yard and so on, part of his constituency, and he had to respond as the parliamentary representative, and he did. But I want to show you how that attitude found itself in policy decision making on behalf of us. They're functioning, or should I say dysfunctioning, as a government. Yes, that injurious position, that hard-hearted and no-minded. You know, when I was growing up, we had pigs. Yes, my father, and of course, going to school, and on a lunchtime, I had to go and clean the pig pens. They call it sty, of course, to use a British term, but pig pen, we know it as pig pen. Lunchtime, I had to go and clean pig pen, and then bathe. Afterwards, of course, put on some perfume and go back as if nothing happened. And everybody will say, but you just bathe when you go home on a lunchtime? I say, yes, of course, they know why. Up to now, they don't know why. I suppose some of my friends who are watching now will know why now, like Chapman in Canada and so on, you will know why now. But the fact of the matter is that kind of attitude of Rowley, because one of the pigs, before I go back to the attitude, one of the pigs in the pen, we used to call it no mind, hard, because we want all the pigs to defecate in a particular corner, so we have less work to do. But that one will, of course, put down his number one and his number two anywhere in the pen. And so we had a calabash tree. We used to pick some long whip and beat him to a frazzle to conform, but he wouldn't conform. He was a total maverick. That is Rowley. But coming back to how Rowley's attitude found itself in policies and programs and the conduct of this government. We will do that after this call. A pleasant good night. Welcome. Yes, what's that?
You hear me?
Yes, you're loud and clear, my friend.
All right. You know what Rowley just said, you put back UNC?
Yes.
Because whenever UNC there, it will show up all the stupidity in them. How tortuous it is. I want to take you off your run tonight. Because you're running like young to about.
Thank you.
Yeah. But I gave an example of how stupid that is. The Manzanilla Beach. And then what I said, I was going to $1 million to fix that.
Yes.
Guyana, I don't know if you ever went there. Yeah, everybody know the side is coming in, they go back out in the morning. What's the problem? They didn't have a seawall going, right to Guyana going up to the East Coast. The Atlantic Ocean was all over the whole place. All Manzanilla Beach, whatever the wall, building along on the sand. As I said, when they do, they know water coming back in people's house. They must take a drive up here, you will see. Right? Like you said, those stupid levels. That's why they want you to come back and power. So you go back and boom them there, and they want to call you because you're talking so good. I don't want you to get a chance. Play back that inbox thing again, eh?
Do what?
Call it inbox statement.
Yes.
Play back the next part, full force.
Tell them again, tell them again.
You give me a little piece last night, give me the rest tonight to the man. So you're moving selfish. You want the next half tonight.
Yes.
I will do that. Continue like you to the make sure.
Thank you very much. Yes, man. And let me tell you this. The dying breed, I must say that group of political, what I consider to be hang-ons, brainwashed, or allow themselves to be brainwashed in spite of what they're seeing around them, I say that they are becoming extinct. Rowley and they, as I discussed with the same guy that called just now, did not cater for social media like this, where we can have a conversation every night at our leisure and pleasure, and of course exchange at the same time. He believed that he could engage in a nostalgic, or put another way, anachronistic, where he believed that he could bring the past into the present circumstances of Trinidad and Tobago, and that he could do them things and get away with it, as Eric William did, not recognizing that Eric William had one radio station, one TV station at one time, and therefore could have controlled the information, and therefore the awareness and the consciousness and the country's actions and response and reactions to the nonsense that Eric Williams would have been doing in the past. And he believes that he could do that today. You had to be a total backside. But I want to show you how that indurate policy, and as I use not by accident, but by specificity and deliberateness, not accepting or refusing those hampers, because he has a beef. He should be the prime minister instead. A Manning, he believes he should be the prime minister forever against Kamala Persad-Bissessar, and even when she was prime minister, he believed he should have been the prime minister, and has proven to be such a disaster. Such an absolute and total disappointment. But let me show you how that attitude and that policy, that attitude has found itself in policy. Here now, the PNM should be relegated to the dustbin of history for conjuring up such a criminal-minded individual, a fellow with in fact a criminal record, in my view. You rape, and don't tell me you don't know that 17 years is a blasted rape charge. And it still is. And that in the criminal law, rape has no time bar. So the old people ever say, when meet you in Pasio, Rowley? When meet you in Pasio? You're playing, you want to be silent, and suddenly you just get pipped when that issue come up. Because you is this moral paragon of virtue, and that you are a pillar of uprightness, and of course, sagacious, moral expression. But I tell you, all of what you have been saying is ambulatory, hogwash, and cacophonous babblings. Cacophonous babblings. It irritated to the ears. Cacophonous. Yes. Look up the damn meaning, man. It's about time that we understand and make them fellas understand that they are nincompoops, unlimited, and as my son will say, infinity. Infinity. Where can we find Rowley's attitude to his constituents, preventing them, depriving them from a hamper in government policy? Where? Well, let me tell you. When the Indian government, during the heights of COVID, and maybe one of the first to, of course, produce the vaccine called AstraZeneca, and decided to use vaccine diplomacy, help African countries, help those third world countries that at the time could not afford to buy medicine or buy the vaccine simply because it was not available, having been gobbled up by the richer northern countries for their own population. It was Rowley, when the information came that you could get it free. Don't forget, you could get it free. We turn and say, Rowley turn and say that that is not a good disposition. That you must pay for what you want, even though in circumstances where Trinidad, it would have been impossible for Trinidad to purchase any of the medicine simply because of the size of our population and the fact that it is not ranked as one of the first world Western nations. And that man turn and say that we cannot be measured by our tendency to look for things free. So in other words, the thing was freely available and he would have refused it even though it would have saved lives by choice of those who are so inclined or were so inclined because people choose it. And eventually, of course, it was forced upon them, but by and large, in the early days, it was a choice. And this man say, he not going to look for no free vaccine because it is not a true measure of a country, in other words, that have money, even though he couldn't get it. That is how the policy of that simple act of refusing those hampers to deliver to the indigent and those in abject need in his own constituency, being deprived of that opportunity, well, it found its way in government policy. The man like a scent, he can't change, and he constant like the Northern Star and very predictable. And he's going to try to steal the elections. Let me close by saying this. And Mr. Rima said earlier that Trinidad and Tobago's government, the Rowley government, ain't bound to follow the decisions of the Privy Council. I want to tell you that that's a misunderstanding of the role of the Privy Council. It is as equal to saying that when the appeal court in Trinidad make a decision, the government ain't bound to follow it. But I want to say they must. And they are not like, we are not like Maduro, who has his own army and in control of it, the police, etc., and all of the apparatus. While, of course, Rowley may be able to make an input and poison with his extraordinarily large poisonous tentacles. I wouldn't say fingers, tentacles. as he has clearly by now, and knows that could go right around the world, having, of course, delivered multiple and monolithic and to an infinitesimal degree, or should I say an infinite degree, lies to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. So if he was Pinocchio, his nose would have been stretched around the world several times. Trinidad, circumference too small. Yeah. They're bound to. They must adhere to the decision of the Privy Council, because the Privy Council is Trinidad and Tobago's highest and final court. Understand that. Let's not waste time. I don't want to give the sycophants and them some opportunity to believe that somehow Rowley could stop the next elections, or that he could have stopped and ignore the Privy Council when they say, listen, get your act together within a specific period, and that you have, of course, infringed people's rights and abused, or should I say, disregarded in the Constitution, and, of course, people's right to vote at the time when they ought to vote. And that they went further to say that to do that is because the cabinet, the government, usurp, take away our right to vote. That is constitutional, not just bigotry, not just betrayal, not just undermining. If the rule of law would have been allowed to subsist just like in Venezuela, when the Privy Council hands down its decision, then Rowley would not go so quick. Not only to call the elections within the reasonable time that was stipulated by the Privy Council, more than that, he had to go back to the parliament with his simple majority. But of course, the opposition would have supported that, because they had councillors as well, in order to what? To ratify the monies that was spent on them, salaries, etc., bursaries and so on, that they would have gotten within the period that the Privy Council said they were in office over too long and illegitimate. Yes, that's what he did. Had to do it. So I don't want anybody on this program in particular to make statements that will somehow arrogate onto Rowley and they possible powers that they never could have and would not have, because this is still a democracy. This is not Venezuela. Understand that. And let me tell you something. If he tried that, as I said before, he cook. I just have to remind you of what transpired in Grenada, what transpired in Panama, and what will unfold in Venezuela in the not too distant future. It may not be a violent displacement, but it will be one that certainly would be tragic. And I must end, of course, I wasn't able to, of course, play my position on the EBC, as I said I will do tonight, but certainly I will do it tomorrow. We run out of time. It's already 37 minutes past the hour of 10 o'clock. Yes, people don't feel all you can catch me to go until 11. No. But the fact of the matter is that when Stuart Young and they stand up in the parliament and talks about higher prices and that they did well because Rowley and they went and negotiate some dragon deal and of course the Lauren Manatee, and they are able now to extract and so on. You know finally what they're telling us? We, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, because he was critical of the UNC for calling Delcy Rodriguez's name, Me Too, because I wrote under the freedom of information to get information, and when they realized where we were going under the auspices of the ground report, they let go the information in public, because once you let it go in public, you cannot, of course, ask them specifically for anything again. So they will just tell you, listen, we said it on Facebook, etc., etc. That is what they did. Because they say they couldn't answer and still cannot answer in the run-up to the 2020 elections. Why and who and how come they didn't respond to the Commonwealth Secretariat, who said that they want to come here, they will spend 1 day in quarantine. They have the money. Money is not the issue. That is a fiction of Dr. Rowley's pernicious, wicked imagination to prevent observers from coming in. So desperate he wanted a second term. So it was sent to Moses through the High Commissioner here in Trinidad. You have a copy of the WhatsApp saying that they're prepared to come, the Commonwealth Secretariat, to observe. All they want is 1 day quarantine, and then some institution to take them around, because they wouldn't know where the polling stations are and where the constituencies are, etc., even though they might have had a brief where they are coming from, or wise on the plane to Trinidad. But all of that was in place. And Rowley orchestrated the non-presence of these people, and we know why. And that is the subject of my request for information under the Freedom of Information Act. Tomorrow, of course, I'll read it out to you. And of course, I'll do it on the ground report tomorrow. So stay tuned to the ground report tomorrow. Stay tuned to the corridor, where you'll get it live and direct. And the explanations. Yeah. What you wanted to hide, as those ballot and polling cards that ended up for recycling, including those from the 2020 general elections, less than 2 months or 3 months after the 2020 general election. So it was an orchestrated plan. And you're telling me that we know all of that, and we cannot counter whatever Rowley plan, including, of course, all of us going in every single constituency, including the Lavantills. Yes, you Lavantillians, you in Portsmouth South, you too have a duty and responsibility to understand what we are dealing with. Stuart Young and they will have us, through the opposition, directly or indirectly, vicariously or otherwise, not talk about Maduro and they. In other words, he is telling us that we must accept the human rights violations in Venezuela. Maduro's marauding, evil, diabolical punishment. And as one caller would have reminded me, and as we spoke earlier, what has happened to the 82 persons? Has Stuart Young, in his many trips to Venezuela, asked about the 82 persons that were that was extracted from Trinidad and delivered on a military plane sent by Maduro back to Venezuela? Has he abreast himself as to what has transpired there? But let me tell you something. In the absence of information, I say that these people would have been maimed. They would have been brutalized. They would have been punished. How dare them seek to go America and leave, especially if they were politically aligned to the opposition. They would have been tortured. And Rowley and them want us. You heard Stuart Young, we mustn't talk about them. But worse yet, to show you how all of them must be charged for dereliction of duty, and therefore they must be seen as purveyors of national security treachery. National security treachery. In other words, they must be seen as persons who have infringed the highest criminal law in this country. Treason. They are treasonous. He is telling us only on last Friday that we must stop talking, we must not express our concern, while we have more than the 45,000 that they record of Venezuelans here, and worse yet, we are seeing them popping up like corn all over the place. If it's not in menial jobs, but more significantly and more regularly in the crime statistics as perpetrators and as victims. Yeah, George Young, just Friday, want us to accept that of people that they invited into our community, our beautiful Trinidad and Tobago, to exacerbate the crime situation and trying to buff up and playing madman and playing aggression being the best form of defense, the arseness that they would have done by way of policies and programs, and telling us we must accept them among us who are here doing us or contributing to the evil, quite apart from competing with us for food, shelter, clothing, and the high prices that attends to such a situation where you have greater demand. Because inside of that, you cannot get foreign exchange. And a fellow who bring in 4 fridges last month, but can't find money to replenish them if his business is selling fridge. What do you think he gonna do? Jack up the blasted price because he can't get foreign exchange to replenish, so as to keep the flow. And as demand increases, cost of living goes up. And this ass is telling us that, listen, prices going down. Just as how the Minister of Finance telling us that the employment situation is in single digits, when we know it's closer to 20%. But we will deal with all of that on another occasion. So I thought I should conclude there. So people have a wonderful rest of the night. God bless. It is now, of course, 10:46. So we're talking about what, 14 minutes until the hour will be 11 o'clock. Let me get out of here. Otherwise, I will have to stay with you. I know that the topic is topical and, of course, very intriguing. But, of course, I have to take a rest as well. So, people, have a wonderful rest of the night. God bless. Don't forget, of course, tomorrow morning, the Ground Report, Andy, Mike, and myself, as we continue with these and other topics. Let's go with our Sunday anthem. I think I feel bubbling tonight, but I'm not yet going home. I want to stay in Trinidad and make certain that Rowley and they leave Trinidad, whether they want to call it home, external to Trinidad, that is up to them. We will discuss all of that on another occasion.